requires a local school system to provide equivalent access to digital tools for students with disabilities, including the development, purchase, and provision of certain digital tools that are directly connected to student instruction. The House amendments require grant and procurement contracts to give primary consideration to the pedagogical value of digital tools being considered and clarify certain requirements. Recommend concurrence.
Moved and seconded, concurring with the House amendments. Any objection? Seeing none, the committee votes to concur.
Senate Bill 79, Higher Education, Senatorial Scholarships Program Accreditation. This authorizes each senator to award not more than 10% of funds available under the program to applicants planning to attend certain accredited institutions outside the state, provided the applicant will be studying in an academic area that's not offered in a program that's accredited by a certain national accrediting association in the state. The House amendments extend the same authorization to delegate scholarships.
This is the Bailey bill?
Yes.
Okay. They had the same language in the delegate scholarships as Senator Bailey initially started with the senatorial scholarship. So they just expanded on our idea, or the senator's idea.
Second.
Senate Bill 79.
Any objection to the concurrence? Seeing none, done.
Senate Bill 163, Election Law Ballots, Processing and Reporting Procedures. In general, Senate Bill 163 alters the canvassing procedures for the curing of and processing of absentee and provisional ballots. The House amendments prohibit, well, you just voted on this on the floor. It makes SB 163 and HB 862 to be identical.
So, again, we just voted on that the other day. This was a compromise, and both bills will look the same. It's been moved, it's been seconded. Any objection? We move to concur. Done.
Senate Bill 478, Career and Technical Education Committee Alterations. In general, SB 478 alters the membership and duties and authorized actions of the Career and Technical Education Committee established under the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. The House amendments repeal the requirement that a member of the CTE committee also be a member of the Governor's Workforce Development Board and establishes the committee as an independent unit within the Maryland Department of Labor.
Was this Roosevelt's bill or Hester bill?
It's a Hester bill, yes.
Okay.
It's a Hester bill with a Roosevelt amendment.
Okay, in terms of the House amendments,
I think it conforms to what we just did, right?
No, there's no cross-file, so,
Oh.
yeah. So, I mean, if you're fine with it, it doesn't seem like a problem. In fact, it might make it easier. Yeah.
So, can you just clarify what the changes were? Because all of that I thought I recognized as we
Appeals the
presented.
requirement that a member of the committee also be a member of the Governor's Workforce Development Board, and essentially establishes the committee as an independent unit within the Department of Labor instead of under the Governor's Workforce Development Board.
So was the last bit the change?
That's both of a change. So right now, some of the members have to be members of the Governor's Workforce Development Board, a certain percentage or a certain number of them, and it's under this this umbrella. This will make it independent. It's not subject to any of those requirements, and that no members have to also be a member of the Workforce Development Board.
they can be, but they're not required.
Correct.
Yeah, it's good. Move to concur.
Any objection to concurring? Seeing none, we concur. Next.
Almost there. Senate Bill 510, Anne Arundel County Board of Education Member Compensation. SB 510 increases the compensation of the members of the Anne Arundel County Board of Education. The House amendments adjust the amount of the compensation increase, meaning the original bill had a $10,000 increase. The House amendments decrease that amount by $3,000 for each amount.
Decrease it by $3,000 to $7,000.
Correct.
The Anne Arundel Senator, one of the two, moves to concur. There a second? Any objection? We concur.
Last one, Senate Bill 920, Early Childhood Development Child Care Scholarship Program Alterations. This bill requires the State Department of Education to establish a process for granting presumptive eligibility to applicants for a subsidy under the Child Care Scholarship Program, and the House amendments conform the bill to House Bill 995 as just passed second reading in the Senate. So it was the compromise between these two, and this makes it a Senate bill and the House bill conform.
It's been moved, it's been seconded to concur. Any objection? Seeing none, done. Ms. Goodwin, let's do 146 and get that out of the way.
So as was left off yesterday for House Bill 146, this is the education reportable offenses and student discipline.
This was
Yeah.
Delegate Moon bill on how to handle the school end of when someone is involved off campus in a reportable offense, just for context. Yes?
And the committee had discussed Senator Washington's amendments. I think there has been agreement on the House to take out the language that Senator Washington was concerned about on the Atterbury amendment. And so if the committee concurs with that, the House was okay with that.
We need to adopt this more.
Oh, sorry, I'm just meaning, we agreed.
She's rolling.
Agreed.
Stop. It is a more restrictive amendment. It's not concurring with their amendments. It's putting a modified amendment, cutting out some of the Atterbury proposal. Senator Washington, then I'll go to you, Senator Carozza.
There is concern, and I agree, about the portions that say school personnel may not ask any questions of the student related to a reportable offense. I said, we haven't resolved it. There's just no way to resolve it. We don't have time. So they've agreed, I agree, I'm recommending that we remove those two parts of the amendment. It keeps that they have the right, if they have an attorney, to have that attorney present. So it keeps that part. Yeah. And then once it removes that, essentially it becomes more of a reporting bill, except for that part where it says you can have your attorney there if there's a reportable offense. So that's my amendments.
So there was other concerns expressed about number 3 in there, the language providing that a student has the right to return to a regular school program, that it would be inconsistent with other provisions in the law that said if a student was involved with a reportable offense for a sex offense, that the student, they should consider not allowing the student to come back to the school with the alleged victim or ride on the same transportation.
Right,
So that's
yeah.
another issue just to consider.
Yep, so to remove those two provisions would for me, I hope for the committee, solve the concerns that we had about the bill. Yeah, we just want to do this one.
We're dealing with the Washington Amendment in replace of the Atterbury Amendment. And so it removes the latter two sections about reportable offense and questions to the student, and also the removal question, because there's other parts of the code that say in some circumstances they don't remove if the student was guilty of a sexual offense and could be a sexual predator, or they raped a student but off campus, they might not want to have that person returned. So we're on the.
Are we working off of the Atterbury? Is Senator Washington amending the Atterbury amendment on page 6 of the voting packet? Is that what you're amending?
Right, so we're, at this point in time, the committee is considering the Atterbury amendment and the language in there. And then Senator Washington's amendment sort of overlaps that, but it has a different component. She was concerned about this language, K, 2, and 3.
But that's what we're working off of, the Atterbury amendment.
Right.
Okay.
Essentially, we adopt the Atterbury Amendment except for 2 and 3.
Correct.
So on page 6 of the packet, and there's some more over there, we are adopting 5 and 6, but we're removing 2 and 3. The latter part, that sort of bogged us down the other day.
Yes.
Okay, that's where we are, that's what we're talking about right
Where's the
now.
reporting? Is
Vice
that
Chair.
on? Is that,
Stacy, is it clear when you say that the, I would say alleged assailant, but it sounds like if there was an assailant and the student, the survivor, won't go back to the same school or use the same transport, is it clear that it would be the assailant who would have to change schools and not the survivor?
Yes, the law says not having the student involved with the reportable offense go back to the same school as the alleged
That's in
victim.
the code already.
Because that,
Yes.
okay,
And
thank
so
you.
we're taking that out, so the existing code will prevail, which does exactly that.
Right.
Okay. Senator.
Just trying to follow the Atterbury amendment. Is that in the reprint? Is her amendment in the reprint?
No, that's Senator Washington. That should have Senator Atterbury's amendment as it shows as an amendment. It was the
Okay.
first one shown,
5 and 6,
right?
and we are amending it to remove 2 and 3 on 6.
Right.
Okay. But, so when I'm looking at the reprint, I don't see her amendment in there. And
No.
does it, so that would just be added to what the reprint is in this?
No, I ran that reprint to show what Senator Washington's amendments would look like, but Delegate Atterbury's was easier to see without having to run the reprint, so,
Ignore the reprint, because that's not before us.
right.
Because that's Senator Washington. Senator Washington is amending Senator Atterbury, Delegate Atterbury's by removing 2 and 3.
Okay. And then the,
We're simplifying this, and it's, the bills that came in originally had to do with the reporting. This adds a little language and affirms the reporting aspect of the bill. Is that correct,
Yes.
Senator? Okay, then we're on the amended Atterbury amendment. Anybody object to the trimmed down Atterbury amendment? Atterbury amendment is adopted, or the Atterbury amendment as amended by Senator Washington. Now, Senator Carrozza additionally has an amendment she may want to proffer.
I do want to offer, this was a friendly amendment. If you'll recall, in the bill hearing, I asked the delegate about getting additional information. This amendment was getting information on if a student is removed from school, to track the information of the student's performance during the time period the student was removed. That would include attendance, completion of homework, grades, test scores. Again, it's just additional information along the lines of the reporting changes we're making. So,
Senator Carrozza has moved her amendment. Is there a second? There's a second. Discussion on the Carrozza amendment. Senator Washington.
I said, the only thing I would add, to the extent practicable, because only about the homeworks, I don't know if they could, I don't know if they would have access to that as a part of it, but I don't think it's a bad thing to try to do, but,
it's information we're
so
gathering.
I just maybe add that.
I'm a little unclear on a couple of things. If the student has been removed from school, why are we asking for their attendance to be reported?
So we're trying to track if the student is removed from school and is in another alternative program, we're trying to track that information to see how the student performs when removed from the school. So it was basically trying to, again, have the information when we're looking at when they're actually removed and how they perform when they're removed from school. And it's just information.
I think it's consistent with, on the part of the reportable offense, they do ask for, grades and different things, so I think it's okay.
Want to remove homework, that seems, homework is going to be very subjective in here. Grades they can get, attendance is easy, standardized test scores, but the homework sounds,
That's what I thought.
is going to be
Okay, if we want to.
heavy lift.
If that's too detailed, we can remove that, but move the rest of it.
Attendance?
No, not attendance.
homework.
I'm sorry.
Completion of
I'm
Removing
sorry.
homework.
I apologize. Homework. Okay. The Carrozza amendment as amended Can we convey this to the House and they can, is there a cross file or not?
No,
They'll just concur.
correct.
Okay. Crow's amendment as amended, removing homework. Any objection? Seeing none, adopted. The bill is amended with the two amended amendments. Anybody wish to be recorded in the negative? Seeing not, the bill passes to the floor 11-0 with the two amended amendments.
Oh,
My amendments? to
So
the- adding-
Senator Washington, she did add something different. She wanted to have a reporting requirement for
School disruptions,
disruptions on that, on school grounds
yeah.
section of the law. Right now, there's no reporting requirement, and hers would add a reporting requirement.
I thought the bill is about reportable offenses
It is.
off campus. We just
Well,
want to,
we're at, well, I mean, we had, I think we had a bill, I think we want
Okay.
both, so,
It's just information.
yep,
let me ask,
yes.
I don't want to get into blank contest with the House at this late date.
No, I've talked to Moon about this
Okay.
weeks ago. and
Okay,
we- yeah.
which language, so we can, is it in the reprint?
It's in the reprint on
Yeah.
page 16, starting after line 34.
And all of it?
Right, so in section 26-101 of the code, it would add this subsection having an annual reporting requirement.
Okay,
And also a report of over a 3-year time period, like what has happened before. I think that's at the bottom. as
okay,
well.
and so the sponsor in the House is fine,
Yeah,
this is not going to
we-
disrupt.
We actually went through and wrote it and figured it out.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have a third amendment, which is the final part of the reprint, was it uncodified?
Yes.
The uncodified section. Any objection to that? It's a report. Please. Yep.
In F, it says, "Shall report to the department on the number of school disruptions in the county in violation of this section." What is violation of this section? Is it all the reportable offenses, or?
No, this is, if you recall the Senate Bill 119 with the disruptions on school grounds, this reporting language is put into that section, and it collects data on that.
So all the disruptions that happen in the classroom, all these things on school grounds, all those disruptions we get a report on those.
But didn't 119 or whatever, didn't that remove the violations?
It has not passed either
has not
house,
passed.
and it's,
It's not going to.
Okay.
The bill
I
that
was
we're.
just seeing how they played in
The
context.
bill was, look, the Washington bill, and there was a cross-file, it had two things about changing where this was from the education code out and leaving the criminal code, and it had reporting. This brings back the reporting piece of it and rolls it into this bill. Is that,
Well, and it gets into what Senator Bailey wanted in terms of the reporting and involving the school, we're sending some of that information to the center, so it's.
okay, so we're on this Washington amendment. Any objection to this additional report? Seeing none, we adopt the amendment. So we have three amendments. The amended Atterbury amendment, the amended Carosa amendment. Mr. Senate President. Yeah, Bill. We're just about, we got 5 more minutes.
I turn the mic off?
We're heading over.
We should have come at
in a minute.
9:30.
Okay? Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Bill, Mr. Bill.
And if for
sorry.
some reason they reject it, we just reject it. But
It's true.
More information.
Okay, and the third Washington amendment we just spoke of, so the bill as amended with those three amendments to amended amendments.
Yep.
Any objection? Seeing none, the bill passes to the floor. You're done, right? Just the nurses' bill, or you have others?
They're waiting on us.
Okay, we got to hustle. Let's do the concurrences first.
So Senate Bill 133, the motion is to concur. This is the bill that modified the membership of the State Board for the certification of residential child care professionals. If we concur, we put it in the posture that we voted on in the House bill file, which removed the requirement for, reinstated the citizenship requirement.
Any objection to that concurrence? Seeing none, adopted.
Senate Bill 195, which is the State Board of Extension for psychologists. We amended it down to 2 years. House wants it back at 10. The motion is to concur on the 10-year sunset for the State Board of Examiners for psychologists.
Whoa. We did architects. What is this for?
This is psychologists. So we refuse to concur with architects. Same question is before us for psychologists. 2 years versus 10
Not
years.
concur, is that the attitude? Not concur. Here's the question, do we set up a conference committee? Well, we forgot to on the last one, so it's a take it or leave it. On the architects, we didn't set up a conference committee, so they either take the 2 years or the bill goes down and they don't get the 10 years and they get an automatic 9 more months. So to be honest with you, it ain't a bad way to go. So I would suggest we might want to not concur and say thank you very much,
Okay.
okay?
So it would be,
Okay,
Okay.
not concur, we don't assign a conference committee.
conference, okay.
We're going to have to hold till Monday on the nurses' bill, that's all.
okay. Do you want to do
there
the
is
2 receipt requests?
Please.
They're cybersecurity bills. So House is requesting that we recede on House Bill 1202 and House Bill 1346.
Okay.
So we can either appoint a
not concur-
conference or ask
okay.
the House to reconsider.
Not concur, we'll
Okay.
appoint a conference.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's get over there. We have one bill, we'll just deal with it on Monday.